Is it? Should be the mic. Not seeing anything on my thing. Why is that not working? Is it? I think it is working now. Okay, cool. Cool. There we go. So I'm so sorry that we're like 45 minutes late. Sad day for the stream. Channel stuff came up. I did change the stream time till now. So I only just made it in time for the pushback stream time. But I do apologise for those who've been waiting. Hopefully no one's been sat waiting for 45 minutes. Yeah, I do apologise. I don't intend to ever be. I mean, it's the first time I've actually been late to a stream. Again, I apologise, but life is life, and it is what it is. But we are here. How many people we got in chat? We've got a nice ripe 12 people. That's more than usual. I guess it's because I don't know, because I've been late and people want to see it, or maybe starting later is the strat to get more people to watch. Anyway, just to go back, our stream going. Chat. Joe Boy, hey Seth, glad you like that. Gintama analysis on Discord. Also think I'm autistic. Nothing wrong with being autistic at all. Gintama, yes, with the cigarettes and the smoking type. I really gelled with that. And it kind of made me want to get back more into doing Gintama videos again. But like, I feel like I'd have to rewatch the entire series or reread the entire manga at this point to get back onto the flow. And I've already got to reread and rewatch multiple other series for the channel anyway. Like, I'm going to reread all of them in luck. So, you know, there's a lot on the plate. Various hellos from people that probably might not be in chat anymore. We got a super chat already. Is it Cheesemo? It is Cheesemo, of course. How did I know? And if I have to guess, it is the body pillow. You know, I was going to offer to do it for free, considering that, you know, what's the called? Considering I was so late, but I'll take the money. Oh God, I've got land. I've got a big pile of just trash in it. Well, not trash, but like a pile of stuff in this corner that makes it difficult to get to the cupboard. Ugh. The sad thing is now that if you pulled up a random stream on the channel now and like just am I gonna have to sit? I'll just move out of that one. Oh. Is that better? That's a bit better. So I'm gonna do this. Yeah, it's the kind of thing now that if you pull up like a random stream now and just go to a random point in the video, there's a good chance that this bloody thing's gonna be in the background, and it's just awful, isn't it? So Camille agrees. Midnight Phantom. So can we all agree Simo is great? Yeah, Simo is awesome. To be fair, like, it was hard to mess up Simo because we kind of knew what we were going to get with Simo. Like, people comparing like that whole bit I was talking OBS. Okay, it doesn't look like, as far as it looks like, it hasn't just blacked out a load of what I just said. But anyway, oh yeah, 4v1 from Loki is going to be very interesting to see. And considering Loki did this straight off the bat, I would assume he's got more to play, because usually we don't get like their coolest abilities right off the bat. It takes a while to, what's the word? Get going. So we're probably going to see actually a lot from Loki, which I'm actually really excited about, because again, we don't usually get these kind of supernaturally ability kind of stuff. So having like these illusions or summons right off the bat is just really very interesting. I also like the idea that that shows. Oh, okay, it's Gintama. I was about to say what. Yeah, I get that. Also, really like the idea that shows 5 main students and their ways of dealing with his death represent the 5 stages of grief. Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I like that a lot. Nobume is denial. Makes sense. Takasugi is anger, obviously. Obero's bargaining. Yeah. Gintoki's depression and Katsura's acceptance. I'm not sure. I guess initially, Gintoki's depression. I don't know, because Gintoki probably reaches... Does he... I don't know if he reaches acceptance first or not, because, like, Katsura just kind of goes crazy. We don't see basically anything of Katsura between the end of the war and, like, when the series starts. So, I don't know, like, how... Because obviously Katsura's... it goes very zany, but it's hard to know how much of that is just him quickly getting acceptance or, like, him having some time. But I think the overall idea is very good. It's not about the money, it's about sending a message. Did he freeze for anyone else? Yeah, that's probably that blackout bit, but I don't think I said anything important. I think I repeated everything I said. Anyway, about the chapter. Actually, we've obviously got 2 chapters. We've got chapter 99 of Record of Ragnarok, and we have chapter 9 of Apocalypse of the Gods. I will rant about Apocalypse of the Gods, so you'll expect a... what's it called? I will do a big rant about it, because there's a lot of rant about the chapter. Be it for the better or be it for the worst. But we'll get to that in a minute. Joel Boy, okay, I have to go. I'm so sorry you waited so long for this stream and you've made it about 10 minutes. Again, I apologise, but hopefully next stream it'll be on time. Gintoki got over it time. Gintoki got over it over time, while Katsura seemed to accept it sooner. Yeah, my point is, like, I don't know when Katsura accepted it. Like, we know when Gintoki accepted it, but we don't know when Katsura did. Because, like, again, we don't see anything of Katsura from the end of the war to the beginning of the series. And by that point, Gintoki had already reached acceptance, basically reached acceptance himself. So it's whether Katsura reached acceptance before Gintoki did. He could have. It's completely possible that he did, but we don't see Katsura in that time period, so it's hard to say. It also depends on what point you think Gintoki reached proper acceptance. I think by the beginning of the series, he basically got to that point already. But yeah, Katsura, we just don't see much of him backstory-wise to, like, know when his, like, he kind of, like his and Shoyo's relationship, like, really isn't highlighted anywhere near as much as it is with his other students. Surly's here. Just remember the stream was on today. How much I miss? Not much, because the stream did start a little late, so you haven't missed much at all. Elkane, it was interesting to see Loki have the arena change instead of Simo asking for it. Yeah, it's always pretty much this, because it's exactly the same as last round, because Susanoo requested Kyoto. However, the difference, I think, like, Susanoo requesting Kyoto was more like he wanted you to see Okuta at his best. My theory for why he's done this is, despite, like, Loki being called, like, Chaos Incarnate and all this and, like, thing, I think he's actually going to be quite a puppet master, quite a control freak kind of character in reality. So I think he has purposely made this thing to be identical to, like, kind of trip Simo out, if that makes sense. Because, like, Simo... I can't think of a great example. It would be something like Simo, like, is diving for cover because, everything's perfect, so it should be where it is, and he dives for a spot that should be cover. But then that's the one thing that Loki's changed to not be accurate, so then he's out in the open or something like that. I don't know. Okay, are we back now? Are we back? Oh my god, honest. Okay, OBS is saying it's back after doing its little crash. Okay, I think we're back now. It's looking like we're back. Okay, cool. Honestly, OBS is just cooking me today. I don't know what's... My Wi-Fi's... Like, the Wi-Fi's usually trash. We all know this. But, like, the Wi-Fi today has been especially trash. It's just going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those streams, I feel. And at least OBS will tell me when it's cutting out, at least. So that's something. Anyway, let's just kind of smash through this. We've got loads of stuff in chat now. It was interesting to see Loki have the arena chat. Oh yeah, we've done that one. Apocalypse was such a letdown. I will get through chat and then do my Apocalypse rant, but I do want to rant about Apocalypse. Apocalypse is definitely something. Simo's dog is a cutie patootie. Yeah, this is the main reason Simo will definitely win. It's because they're not doing like a what's the dog called? Hachi or whatever it's called. The one in Japan that waited for its owner. for years after its owner had died. We're not having that happening. Simo is going to return for his dog. So Simo is definitely surviving because the dog is not going to be left alone. To be honest, I am still the only one who remembers the theory when Simo was first introduced that the Volond was his dog. I know that's probably not the case, but it would be amazing. Yeah, I do. I have seen the dog Volond theory floating around before. It's an interesting theory. And I mean, considering we see his dog and his Valkyrie in the same space, in the same place at the same time, it would indicate that's probably not the case, but it would be funny. How much have we got to donate for you to do the Fug Shaker, Seth? I won't give you a number, but if someone super chats the right number, I would do it. But I'm not going to tell you what the number is. You're going to have to keep donating in hopes you get the number right, basically. The whole fight was pretty much Goat Mia's standing there, gargling and drooling until he got flung into the wall for 19 minutes. You kind of summed it up well, yeah. All good lies have a grain of truth, and the best way to manipulate someone is to tell or give them enough of what they want to lead them along the path you want to take. Yeah, basically, yeah. That's a much better way of what I was trying to say. Prometheus is the Adam of the gods. He went outstanding, and he cares about humanity, so he has more respect, even though he basically got one shot. The thing with the Prometheus Adam moment is, on paper, it's really cool, but it wasn't earned at all. It was just not earned at all. Prometheus is nothing like Adam. He thought he was hot shit because Wukong let him get a strike in, but then he was taught his place by just 15% of his power, and even 15% was overkill. Yeah, like, power scaling wise, how strong is Sun Wukong? Because, like, Prometheus was already presented and, like, as actually a very strong god. So what's Wukong like? What's Wukong genuinely be like top of the tier list, like Zeus level? And then watch Ku beat him and Ku be like Zeus level as well. I told you it's not about the money. I'm sending a message. What does everyone think of Simo so far? I'm loving Simo so far. Surly usually runs like ass on my PC, so I'm having to refresh a bunch. Honestly, the stream like it's just it's trash anyway. So you know, I really thought the battle would begin in chapter 100. I thought 99 would be about giving a little bit of character to Simo before the fight, like talking with Brunhild. Yeah, it would be cool, but at the same time, people have already been moaning about like how long it's taken to get to round 11. I don't think people like sanity would have survived another chapter of talking. Can we also note how Brunhild didn't notice Gol had been kidnapped like that whole time until like right before the match starts? Like, oh wait, where's Gol? Like, what? Can't wait for Ku to tank 100% attack from Wukong. I mean, assumably he will, because like you've got to be on some pretty insane copium to believe that like Wukong's actually going to beat Ku, because like he just isn't. So unless we're never going to see an 100% attack from Sun Wukong, Ku is going to have to tank that. I guess he could dodge it, but like it would be very funny. Yeah, but you know, the whole point is you're not meant to be able to dodge those attacks, so we'll see. Here's the thing about Pogs of the Gods. This chapter, in some ways, was ass. In other ways, it was good. And what I mean by that is, like, round 1, for example, I'm much more of a round 1 liker than most people. I liked round 1 of Apocalypse quite a bit. The one thing my critique of round 1 was that there was very little in the way of what's the word? There was very little in the way of characterization. And like no backstories, really anything like that. And I was like, it's kind of fine because Ku's backstory is obviously going to be safe for later in the manga, and Ra doesn't really need one because Ra is very much like Poseidon. He's like a Poseidon type character where he's basically just there to be a massive egotistical prick who represents like, you know, the high mighty gods. There's not meant to be much depth to the character. Like he is meant to serve as a hateable god for Ku to beat the shit out of. So I don't mind. I didn't mind us having a bit of a lack of characterization for Ra. And like personally, I found the action in round 1 fine. Yeah, it was a lot of aura farming and then like Ku one-shotting, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the action. Round 2, on the other hand, basically does the complete opposite, where in terms of the actual action, it's absolute ass. Like you've got like Prometheus lands an attack and then gets one shot. Like it's not fun to read. because it's over so short as well. Like, if it was like, if we had like 3 chapters of back and forth between the two, and like it's like just Prometheus just like getting like put down again, but keeps standing up, really showing us of endurance over and over again, and then finally gets taken down at the end, I think we'd have fun. That'd be fine. But because the fight itself is so ass, it doesn't matter how good the characterization is. Because I think Prometheus's characterization overall was very good. His backstory was like nothing special, but it was all right. And that final exchange between the two of them in this chapter was really good, but it wasn't earned. Okay, we got reconnected. Hello, thank you. At least OBS is saying it's back. Okay, cool. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I liked the final exchange of the chapter. I think the writing there was really good. The issue is, the story is a fighting thing. It's what's it called? It's an action manga at the end of the day. As much as the storytelling is great, the fights have to be good too. It's got to be a blend of both. Round 1, again, didn't have the writing, but it had the cool action. At least in my opinion. Round 2 didn't have the action, but it had the writing. And that's the problem. You need to have both. It's kind of shit if it only has one. And it does kind of feel like we just kind of like rushed through this round as much as possible. And I think that's a real shame, because I think this had like Prometheus, like from what we got from previous character arc, is really interesting. I just would have liked to see more like actual action. I think again, this is a round that had the potential to be really good, and looking at the final result, you can obviously tell if it was extended, it could be really good, but they just rushed it, and it's just a real shame. And I fear the next round's going to be the same. It's probably just going to rush. It's just going to rush for the action. But it's clear like they have in mind character arcs and the characterization in mind, and so they shove it in. So it's like most of this round was just like Prometheus characterization with like no action, because they have to slam that in, and the action is just becoming like forfeited for it. And it's just a real shame. And I fear the next round's going to be the same. And I really want this. Want the spin-off to be really good. I think it's the potential to be really good, but like so far, you know, they're stumbling at pretty easy to clear hurdles. But that's my rant about Apocalypse of the Gods. Anyway, I want Wukong to have a switch and start to carry Prometheus' ideals and love humanity. I'd be interested. We're gonna have to see what Wukong's like backstory is and what's made him lose hope in humanity. Maybe something to do with Buddha. Yeah, if we're hoping. I'm telling you, Seth, I'll use my magic powers again. I'll kick your router. Please kick the router, because router, because it is shit. Wukong did so the gods in his story, so anything less than this would be a letdown. Yeah, but again, they didn't have... The thing is, like, they don't need to be mythologically accurate. Like, that's just not a thing. You don't have to do that. They've set up Wukong to be so immensely powerful at this point that it's going to feel a little plot devicey when he loses the coup. That's just kind of the reality of it. They didn't have to make Wukong as strong as he was, and then have him lose the coup. So it's just gonna be interesting. Simo, to be fair, is very fitting to be the kind of guy who just goes straight into the fight, like out of sense of duty, as opposed to bloodlust or anything. Yeah, Simo was like just ready to go. Wukong is the favourite to win this tournament. I mean, like in terms of in universe, yes. In terms of like outside universe, obviously not. It's going to be cool. Like it's not going to be Wukong. Let's be honest, guys. And Zeus directly says he's an SS tier fighter amongst the gods. I mean, the SS tier thing, like the translators have come out now and said that was just an awful translation on their part, because that's not what they said at all. It just said he's one of the strongest gods. He's among the highest echelon of the gods, which doesn't really tell us anything. The SS tier shit is just a weird translation. No Buddha is shocking as well. Yeah, I expect we will see Buddha in Wukong's next round. I guess this round they want to devote panel time to Prometheus' shit over like Wukong shit, because we got very little of actual like Wukong kind of like backstory or anything like that. 1 minute, cat. You coming in or not, cat? No. Okay. Poseidon was actually given some depth, though. I think the subtext of why he became like this is because of his idolization of Hades. He thinks every god should be that way. Yeah, that is true, but that's not in round 3. That comes later. Like, that is not something you can observe in round 3, in his actual round where he serves as a big egotistical god for the humanity to kill for their first win. Like, that stuff doesn't really exist. That's not part of his characterization until later on. Ra could get similar characterization later in this manga. We could get more Ra shit. But in terms of, like, the actual fight, like, Poseidon didn't need to be anything more than a big arrogant god who hates humanity. Because that's all his character served in round 3. All his other characterization came later. It wasn't necessary for the storytelling of round 3. And again, there is more depth to Poseidon. Like, Poseidon has a view of what a god should be. But you know who else has a vision of what God should be? Ra. Ra also has this. Like, in the same way that, like, Poseidon was, like, angry at Animus for his, like, views of godship, Ra was angry at Zeus for how he presents godship. Like, there's literally, like, a whole debate between, like, Ra and Zeus about what they both think is fitting of a god. Like, Ra and Poseidon, like, both very similar things. And, like, yeah, there is more to them. But in terms of, like, what actual services the round and the actual, like, storytelling of the fight... again, it kind of boils down to big ego gods. That is just kind of what makes them work in their rounds. Like Poseidon wouldn't work nearly as well as if he was fighting in a different round, because he's perfectly designed to be the first god to lose. Like, that is, like, the part of his character. In the same way that Ra's base got metal, so him, like, Ku has to show that he is, despite a demigod, on the same level as these guys. So having him, a demigod, take out a chief god who's arrogant and, like, divine, like Ra, it's just basic storytelling. Thank God OBS is back. I'm really getting annoyed with OBS just cutting out like this. On the bright side, it is giving me time to read chat ahead of time and have some to actually think about what I have to say. For example, it is back, right? Okay, we are back. Cool. Also, I just saw the cut content for Record of Ragnarok again and remember that Babe Ruth was a human fighter. What do you think his Valond would be? I mean, his Valond would probably just be a baseball bat, right? Like, I don't know what else it would be. God damn it, it's not working again. Honestly, it's just shocking. Like, it is genuinely terrible. I'm not impressed by it at all. It's been cutting out all day, to be fair, so it's probably, like, should have seen this coming. I think Wukong's power is what's to blame, since it can be argued that he has I think Wukong's power is what's to blame, since it can be argued he has limited amounts of pain to use. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's fair. Round 2, Prometheus hurts Wukong. Wukong hits Prometheus once. Wukong wins. Lamest rounds. It was worse than Ku vs. Ra. Yeah, it is. The fighting, like, in terms of, like, I would argue the storytelling's better than Ku vs. Ra, but, like, in terms of, like, but it has awful action. So, it's just automatically worse. That's just the thing. Prometheus versus Rajan and Fujin, humanity's 5 versus the gods of the storm and the wind. That'd be cool. Probably get a better fight than Prometheus versus Wukong. I feel like Wukong will make it close to the end or the final round and be defeated. Wukong is not making it past round 2. It's just not happening. He's losing in the second thing. He's losing to Ku. Like, yeah, it's just like, this is, at the end of the day, this is Record of Ragnarok, Apocalypse of the Gods. This is not some subversive masterpiece. Yeah, I think it's very, very obvious that Ku is going to make it to the finals. And Wukong will go out next round. It'd be very, if they really wanted to preserve Wukong's, like, power, you could have him voluntarily, like forfeit the match or something. I don't know how you'd write that in to make it make sense. But considering that, like, because Ku's a demi-human, like, demigod, sorry, because he's half human, like, his humanity will speak to Wukong and he'll, like, get over his issue with humanity or some shit, and maybe he gives up or something. I don't know. I'm not writing the story. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to have Ku win, because he 99% chance is going to win this. And not have Wukong look like a little piss boy. Because Ku, like, already is looking, like, really overpowered for no reason. So Wukong no diffing Prometheus makes sense. Like, it was a battle of the other having a taste of their life or experience. Wukong's was just too much for Prometheus. Yeah, like, it can make sense. It's like how, like, if we had, like, Zeus versus Jack in the main story, and, like, Jack just got, like, one shot. Like, it makes sense. It doesn't make it fun, though, or interesting. Like, having Wukong no different Prometheus isn't fun. But, like, it's the kind of thing, like, yeah, we could have Zeus versus... Who's a... I don't know. Who's, like, a really, really weak-ass character? No, Salt Frog's probably pretty strong. Okay, let's have Zeus fight... No, Poseidon fights one of the random women Raiden is sleeping with and one-shots them. Like, it makes sense. But it's not fun. It's not interesting. You shouldn't devote time to it. And there's no reason to write... Like, writing a one-shot match isn't fun. There's a reason that all the other... There's a reason, like, in main Record Ragnarok, all the rounds are long. And they're usually the fighters are kind of close to each other in terms of strength, so there can be back and forth because it's entertaining. Yeah, it's just it's just not very fun. Like from a story standpoint. I don't look at this tournament the same as the Record Ragnarok, despite being a spin-off. It's more like the Kengan Annihilation tournament, which started with a lot of stomps or predictable fights at first. Yeah. Well, King Annihilation... hasn't just randomly disconnected, has it? Doesn't seem to have. Yeah. I mean, even like early on in Kengan, there was still some unpredictable stuff to an extent. But yeah, I get what you mean. How do you feel about Ku as a character? I'm not the biggest fan of Ku so far. Like, I don't mind him. He's fine. He's not done anything to like make me really like him above other characters. Yeah, I'm curious to see what his backstory is and like how that's related, what his motives are beyond just wanting to show that he's strong. I hope there's a bit more to him. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see his fight with Wukong, to see him win without relying on Gabol, because that seems to be what's going to go forth. Like, he's going to have to... It seems like it's going to be like him having to learn to get stronger through these fights, which I think could be quite fun. Obviously, we don't have anything like this in Record of Ragnarok because people only fight once. But this is a fun time to have like the characters growing and changing as fighters and in mindset throughout fights. So, and since Ku's going to be the character to like progress through the most matches, apart from like whoever on the other side of the bracket is going to make it quite far. But yeah, it's interesting. Babe Ruth on some Kuroki Gensai shit where he draws a line in the dirt and refuses to move would be so peak. It would be. Babe Ruth such a... I kind of like wish Babe Ruth stayed in just because it's such an unconventional like character. Because like everybody else, minus like, I guess like Tesla's a scientist and Adam. I guess they're not all fighters, but like he's a sportsman. He's a bit different. Hopefully Indra uses electricity like in the short fight he had with Shiva. I think he will. Like Apocalypse of the Gods seems to be way more open to giving more of these like supernatural powers. So I imagine he will. Jesus versus oh god, how do I say? Azathoth. Azathoth. That sounds right. Yeah, I know he is. I just can't remember. Jesus versus Azathoth. God's first son versus the Dream of Worlds. Be an interesting one. Probably get censored on Netflix, I imagine. I'm not saying that about. I'm not just saying that about Babe Ruth arbitrarily, by the way. I'm playing on how part of why he was so good at hitting home runs was so that he wouldn't have to run. That's pretty funny. I have a friend who's a tennis player, and like his strategy is always just to like just score with his like serve and like just smash it so he doesn't have to run around. Just lazy as hell. The worst thing is Wukong used 15% on Prometheus, who is set up with great endurance, doesn't help anyone he fights. Ku should need to have less than that by Wukong. Yeah, it's just weird. It's gonna, yeah, because it's gonna. I feel like we're gonna have to see 100% from Wukong for the series ends. Because what's the point of setting it up otherwise? But then if Ku can tank that, like, what is going on when Prometheus is meant to be? Yeah, it's just kind of weird. not great. You could have at least had if just make it have a longer fight and Prometheus just tank multiple attacks. Then it's not just. Then it becomes a lot more murky about how much you actually needed to defeat Prometheus, and it doesn't make Prometheus look weak and Ku look overpowered as hell. Cat has a lot of time outside the actual fights, though. Apocalypse doesn't have that. Yeah. But the Kengan's got like a lot more going for it than this does. Pretty much all the early rounds in Kengan Ice tournament were mid to high diff. There were a handful of low diffs, but they weren't the norm for the first round. Yeah. Cat also did a good job where I think it wasn't always obvious who was going to win the fights as well. Like, I don't think it was like as blatantly obvious as like these two. Like so far in Apocalypse of the Gods, like it was very obvious Ku was going to win round 1. Very obvious Wukong was going to win this round. Even though I held hope Prometheus would win, like it was quite obvious Wukong was going to win. Like next round, it seems. Although next round, I wouldn't say it's as clear cut because like although Indra was like on the cover, Zook has got like a lot of panel time of just chatting shit. So you know you could. It's not. I think next round's the first one where I think it's a bit more up in the air of who could actually win it. Server Apocalypse is weak to begin with. So far, the only spin-off that's been helpful is Legend of Lu Bu. Lu Bu's just like the flexing. It's just a flexing anime, flexing manga. I still like Apocalypse of the Gods because we're getting to see a lot more like cool god characters, which I'm all for. But yeah, overall, like in terms of like quality, like Lu Bu's better. But then it's also like this is the only one of the spin-offs that is basically doing the same thing as the main series. So it was never going to be as good as the main series. And it's doing the same thing as the main series. That's the kind of thing where Lu Bu's a fresher prefer because it's a very different story to Record of Ragnarok. Whereas Apocalypse of the Gods is basically the same thing again, but like worse. Kane versus Loki, humanity's first killer versus the killer Balder. That could be cool. I think Kane's always a very interesting one to throw into these kind of matchups. Unfortunately, because of the way the story has been written, the left side of the bracket is now too predictable. Yeah, the left side's very predictable. Like, I'd say next round is a bit more up in the air. I think you can make an argument. I think Morrigan is probably quite obviously going to win her round. I think her versus Ku is probably going to be the semi-finals, if I have to imagine, because they're set up for them to fight again. I think, though, the right side is really interesting. I have no idea who on that right side is going to like make it to the finals for the other side. Like, if I had to guess, Surtur, just because he's related to Ragnarok, maybe. But it really could be anyone. Well, I say anyone. It's not going to be Hydra. I can already, as much as I want it to be Hydra, it's definitely not going to be Hydra. I can just tell it's not going to be Hydra. Sherlock Holmes versus Azafoth, the smartest detective versus the idiot gods. I know Sherlock is fictional, but I can't think of anyone more fitting to represent intelligence outside of Tesla. Yeah, you can just do like a fate and just make him real for some reason. Have you been reading Madro Tyson? I am a little behind on Madro Tyson, I must admit. I've missed a couple chapters. I need to sit down and catch up. But yeah, that's a good reminder, actually. That's a good reminder of me to actually catch up. Kane versus Death, the first killer versus the one who's killed the most. Yeah, as I said, like, I mean, just Kane being, like, the first killer, the first sinner. Well, first sinner, depending if you count, like, Adam and Eve as, like, sinners. But, like, the first son of Adam. Like, there's a lot of, like, just cool, like, parallels you can do with Kane and various characters. Joe Boy, hello, welcome back. I put some of my fan roster in your Discord chat. I never did actually complete it though. Yeah, I'm really bad at like replying to stuff in Discord, but I do like look at the stuff in Discord, and there's been some really really cool fan rosters in there. Anyway, I know having Jin's depression is a stretch, but how he was right after, I think it makes sense. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with your like if you had to assign one to each. I think Jin's probably depression. And Katsura's acceptance, only because like both of them do reach acceptance. It's just kind of like I would never say Katsura seemed particularly depressed. If you got to match him up, it makes sense. I want Death to be the one who makes it to the semi-finals and have an ability to steal the time away from others, so people need to take it out before their time runs out. That'd be really really cool. Is it too cool for this manga? Maybe. I'm also curious. I think my gut feeling. No, it's not my gut feeling. No, Def's going to be a guy because I think we're all going to be the only women in this. But if any of them are going to be a women, I think Def would be quite a cool one to be a woman. You can have it like in Marvel. Come on, cat! Quick! Oh, shut up, lemon cat. Oh, yeah, bugger off. Oh. I think Kumagawa versus Loki and Saitama versus Dr. Manhattan are great record of Ragnarok ideas. I mean, Kumagawa would lose to Loki because Kumagawa loses. That's his thing. That's the fun thing when it comes up to like death battle matchups when Kumagawa gets thrown in. Like Kumagawa's whole thing is he loses, so he probably loses. Saitama versus Dr. Manhattan. That's interesting. Can Dr. Manhattan like kill Saitama? In the basis, like, yeah, obviously, if they keep fighting, Saitama will eventually just get stronger than him. That's just how it. That's just how it happens. But it could be cool. Yeah, I don't know. If Dr. Manhattan just kill him like immediately, he probably wins. Zodiac Killer versus Thoth. Humanity's unsolved murder versus the smartest god. Yeah, Zodiac Killer would be cool. It's like, yeah, Zodiac Killer. Yeah, it's just like. Sorry, I had me thinking about something else for a minute there. By the way, I submitted my ideas to Discord to do anything else. At the moment, no. I am going to. I'll probably try to do it this weekend. I just want to iron out like what the process is going to be. Basically, if your shit's like already in the Discord, you're fine, because we have like a whole chapter for it. But I'll make like, I just need to lay out how we're gonna lay out the like the fan roster ranking stream thing. It'll probably be the next stream I want to say. Hopefully sometime next week. I'm gonna try commit to that. I remember DMing about the potential themes from Prometheus versus Odin. What do you think? Let me have a look. Gotta find the message now. Do you remember you DMing me about it? But I gotta find it. Oh, found it. I meant to reply to your message. Sorry for not replying. I thought I had replied to your message ages ago. I do apologise. Going off the original mythology, I think Odin versus Prometheus could be interesting. Thematically, they both gifted humanity with knowledge, but for almost opposite reasons. Prometheus did so in defiance of his fellow gods to have admiration of mankind, whereas Odin did it to gain humans' gratitude and reverence. That is a phenomenal setup for a thing. Probably wouldn't work with our versions of Odin and Prometheus in Record of Ragnarok, considering that Odin seems to Odin's not exactly that similar to Odin in Norse mythology, but could be very cool. I kind of wish they had a fictional fighter who would be known as the most prepared human. They just keep predicting everything because they prepare for literally every possibility. It would be cool. I think people would moan a lot about OC because people already moan about like Zorofuku for being an OC. And Animus, so I don't know. People might just moan, but it would be very cool. You can already find a fictional, like a person in history that fits that anyway. Simon from Gurren Lagann versus Dr. Manhattan could also work, surpassing godhood with Will versus losing once Will after becoming god. It would be cool thematically. Not an actual fight, because Simon would just drill through Manhattan because he's the goat. He already busted out Daki-chan, did he? Don't say, oh no. I feel ill reading that. No. Excuse my wee rudeness, I've got to go. See you guys. Oh, thank you for hanging around for stream. It was a pleasure to interact with you. There's also Sherlock Holmes versus Thoth in a chess match of Russian roulette. That'd be cool. It'd be really cool if, like, obviously Ragnarok's a fighting thing, but it would have been cool if not all of them were fights and some of them were like challenges, where it's like a chess match, for example. That'd be quite cool. Looking back over it, there was only 4 fights in Cat Round 1. I strictly define as low diffs. Julius versus Sawada. Yeah, that definitely was. Nezu versus Ray. Oh, Nezu. I really like Nezu as well. Kuroki versus Leto. Kuroki versus Leto, like, was low diff, but, like, I know, like, a small partner is like, Leto's probably going to pull this off, because he's, like, he's being set up as Oma's rival. So I was like, I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it, and then, you know, he gets low diffed. Chiba versus Hatsumi. Yeah. But I guess with that, like, it comes down to, like, Julius, Hatsumi, and Kuroki are 3 of the strongest people in the tournament. And that's not to say Leto was weak. But he was definitely on the weaker side of people, and Nezu was just weak. Add mine to the list. It's entirely based on fictional humans versus the pre-existing gods. Yeah, if you join the Discord, there is a community post on the channel with a link to it. And go on there, and then go on to the fanfic text channel and just post it in there. And I will get round to it when we do the stream of ranking people's fan rosters. Yeah, so anyone's fair to add, just go on the Discord and just put them on there, and we will go through them. Do you think Loki will summon any past human fighters? Having Raiden bum rush Simo in nothing but his cloth in the snow would be funny. I hope so. It would be really cool. But Heracles, I think, is an interesting. Well, like Thor and Odin make a lot of sense because they're part of the Norse pantheon. He did seem to have a kind of relationship with Heracles, but it would be cool if we see a lot of these fighters. And to be, if we're being really pessimistic here, and we don't get an extra round, and Anubis doesn't end up fighting. No, sorry, it's the humans that we have. Sorry, the other way around. And we got really pessimistic, and like not all the humans get to fight. Maybe we see like, I don't know, him summon like Nostradamus or something, or Rasputin, and that's how they fight. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it would be pretty funny. Rant 11 is going to best. We finally have a magic user and an aura farming sniper, not sword / hand-to-hand combatant. Yeah, it's just the fact that we have like Simo is actually sniping, and Loki has actual like magic, is already setting this up to at least be one of the most interesting fights, just for like a refreshing take. It's going to be novel at the very least. Aren't all the human fighters basically OCs except for Simo, who is the closest in time to us? I mean, to an extent, yeah, but like just being based on like a real figure, like people just seem to like that. Like I understand it. Like yeah, like Sasaki, like historically we know basically nothing about him, so like he's obviously very different to how he is in the story. Jack's obviously very, very different to what Jack the Ripper was probably actually like. But I think just having a name to it, just like people like that a lot more. Also after realizing I was autistic, I realized the power system messaging the darker box could be seen as an allegory for neurotypicals. We'll elaborate later. Yeah, I have seen that take before. I don't know if it's, the thing is like I don't know if it's a bit of, my issue is like if we're going Death of the Author, I think it's very easy to read it as an allegory for that kind of stuff. The thing is that because it's a Japanese story, and like if there's one thing Japan is really bad at, it's mental health. Like just in general, like just the idea of any kind of like mental health or any kind of mental like any kind of like differences in the way that in our minds work from each other. Like we all, as much as different as our bodies are to one another, so are our minds and our brains and like how they work and stuff. Japan doesn't really agree with, like, doesn't believe in a lot of that stuff. It's not something that they really it's not something Japan like acknowledges to exist. And especially with Darker Box being written like a while ago, I don't know. I feel Nisho Ishin is more likely to like know about this kind of stuff than like the average Japanese person. But like, I don't know if like it's the kind of thing that Nisho Ishin would like know about to actually write in. But if we're going from a definitely author perspective, I think it makes so much sense. And I think it's a really good thing, and I agree with it completely. Whether it's intended or not, I'm not entirely sure. Again, just because of it's Japan. But even so, I think it's really cool. But anyway, as you're saying, Joe Boy, different from other people and non-equal. Different from other people and non-equals reflect how they have different mindsets altogether. Neurons in your brain being what the words come from, and the message of the story is that everyone's a human no matter what, which reflects how neurodivergent folks still human, happen to see the world differently. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it really fits in with the framework of the story. I think it's really good. Madoka and Kamigawa's dynamic can reflect that one feels like she thinks ahead while the other thinks he's slower than the others. Yeah, and Zenitsu can be the token neurotypical since he's a normal guy. And Najumi's arc is just someone who's dissatisfied and learns to live it regardless. Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway from the story. And again, like, I like when people engage with a story in their own situation, their own experiences. As I think that's a really, really interesting and cool interpretation takeaway from the story. Their original takes on pre-existing figures as opposed to wholly original characters from the ground up. Yeah, but that's basically like people just like them being based on real people. That's what it comes down to. Like if Zerafuku was actually like just called Bishamante still, I think people would have a way less issue with them being OCE. Or if like Animus was just another Greek god, I don't think people would have much an issue. Beethoven and the other musicians versus Apollo, Artemis, and their muses in a halftime performance. See, that's the kind of thing that'd be cool. Like, I'd love to see some more of these, like, general, like, not fighting stuff. Which human and god have been the most oral farmers in the story so far? Ooh. I'd say 4 has been oral farming a lot. Just because, like, the way that 4 just kind of sits there on that throne with just his massive hammer is giving oral farming energy. I don't know if Lubu was particularly aura farmering. You could argue Adam aura farmed a lot with like him like just laying out, doing that pose on top of that big pillar at the beginning of round 2. That's pretty aura farming. Who else aura farms? Who else aura farms? I wouldn't say anyone in round 4 particularly does. Round 5? Not really. I don't know, I think Adam actually. Adam aura farmed quite a bit at the beginning of his round. Who else? Does Buddha aura farms to an extent? No, he does aura farm quite a bit. Qin Huang is obviously the king of the aura farming, because obviously he is. Beelzebub aura farms. Like the bit where like he goes to Hermes, like he grabs like his skull like this, and then he just like he gets the pole down and just like strikes a pose and informs Zeus, I'm next. Like that is some aura farming. That is some aura farming too. Wukong is probably the most accurate in terms of power when it comes to powers. Yeah, Wukong's pretty accurate in that, like, he just seems to be overwhelmingly strong. Again, like, he's still, I wouldn't say Wukong's probably still weaker. Like, but Wukong's obviously not going to be the strongest in the verse. I mean, that's quite obvious. But yeah, they are being pretty accurate in, like, power-wise with Wukong. Because the kind of thing is, like, in terms of, if your mythology scaling, the strongest gods in Record of Ragnarok should be is between Wukong and Ahura Mazda. It depends how you interpret some of the mythology of Ahura Mazda, but Ahura Mazda can scale higher to Wukong. It really depends on how you're scaling this stuff. But like generally those two are the ones that like mythologically should be the strongest. And I have a feeling Ahura Mazda is not going to live up to that kind of mythological like status that he has. Also, the story constantly throws around words like main character and roles, which is how some, but not all autistic people, including myself, sometimes think of their role in the world. Yeah, I agree. It's a really interesting take. It'd be very, very cool. maybe make a video on it. I'm just saying, we need more Madaka Books YouTubers around, so maybe make a video on it. Just a suggestion. I just put it in Discord. If I put it in the wrong area, please let me know. I can have a look for you. Yeah, it's in the right area. No problem at all with that. You really doubted Wukong. I mean, like, we didn't, like... I doubted... Well, we doubted Wukong because we didn't know, like, how strong Wukong was. Like, characters, like, there's plenty of regular random characters that are nowhere near as strong as they would be in mythology. So, like, not thinking Wukong wasn't going to be as strong as this was not, like, a weird take. Just a lot of faith in Prometheus. Jack kind of aura farms with his intro. Yeah, he does, actually, with that mask on. Yeah, he definitely aura farms. Tesla's jump into the battlefield was amazing. And if that isn't aura farming, I don't know what aura farming is. Yeah, Tesla does aura farm. A lot of the characters aura farm, basically. Tesla's cube, Leo's pre-match hype aura is up there too. Leo does aura farm a lot before the match, just not during the match much. Vidar versus Chuck Norris, the power of vengeance. I think Vidar's going to get folded by Chuck Norris because he's that strong. Leo's weapon is still my favourite in the series. That shield spear is so cool. Yeah, Leo's weapon's very cool. My favourite's Raiden's because it's a belt. His belt is he's making his Valkyrie like hug his waist and crotch. It's very funny. And I know there's not a lot of neurotypical canon reps in anime manga, but there's definitely ones who can interpret it as. Yeah, I think there's loads you can interpret it as. I think it also comes down to like, it's not being neuro, like a lot of people being like, again, as I said, like a lot of us like neurologically, like we're all different in all different ways, and like even if like people don't want to acknowledge it as a specific term or condition because they don't want to. Isn't change the fact those people do exist, and it means that when you're right, when even if like mangas are unaware of like the actual conditions, or the conditions or the terms or like the specific conditions or whatever terms you want to use, even if they're not aware of like the specifics of it, they are still writing characters who would be that in real life because they're such a normal part of life. That they are just, again, they're normal people. They are just people. Everyone's a little different. So if they're writing characters who, in real life, would fall into this, that's, it's understandable that that's obviously going to happen. So I think that's very true. Mob, I think is a great example. Kanata. Yeah, Kanata. Actually, I've never thought about that, but yeah. Smile from BBTA. Krona, definitely, Solita. Asaka from Asamangadio. Yeah. Let me know when you're ready for the recording for round 6. So I got a new mic. I'm still in the writing phase for round 6. I will let you know. Round 6 is ending up quite long. Arthur's backstory is an absolute monster. So let's see. And there's a lot. Yeah, it's got. Yeah, I'll just have to let people know when I'm getting close to finishing the script. Will you do the Rhino character analysis or will you keep them in the one video? I don't know. I'm really because I don't know what else there is for me to say about them in individual videos that isn't me just repeating myself from the round 9 video. I'm probably gonna have a go at writing the Apollo video script wise and just have a see. I'm basically probably gonna write the Apollo script and look at it and compare it to the round 9 video and basically kind of say, is this worth making that is different? That's kind of where I'm at. So I probably will write the script and see where we go from there. Because I don't want to have to put out a video where it's basically just the same shit I've already said. That's the thing. So I don't know is my honest answer to that. I'll be able to... I will be probably... So Prometheus will probably be the next one now that round 2's over. I can actually do Prometheus analysis. So I'll probably do him next. But I don't know. Basically. Okay, I followed certain rules when it came to the making of it. Humans can only have powers that even if just theoretically any human in their world could have. Yeah, that's fair. Like, even in Ragnarok proper, like, they don't go massively outside of the realm of, like, what humans can actually have. Minus maybe Adam. Isn't Shiva supposed to be the strongest? Shiva's... it depends how you scale Shiva. There is some stuff in Hindu mythology that, like, has Shiva not be like omnipotent for some reason. I don't know the specifics. Someone I know who's really into mythology was tried to explain to me once. There is scaling you can do to not have Shiva, but Ahura Mazda is basically like omnipotent to the like Ahura Mazda is basically like the Judeo-Christian god. Basically, they are the absolute creator. Yeah, Ahura Mazda is like the creator. The only kind of like in like Zoroastrianism, there's also like this dark force, which is like the combination of all like bad things in existence, and Ahura Mazda cannot destroy it, but he can only keep it at bay. But it depends on your interpretation if it's like he's incapable of just destroying it, or like there's some interpretations that like he is the darkness at the same time, which is probably why in Reckon of Ragnarok he has like the split face, because yeah, it's the darkness and the thing. So it, like in mythology, like in mythology he is like as omnipotent as you can basically get. So it just really depends on your scaling. You can probably put Shiva up there too, depending on scaling. But yeah, when we're scaling mythology was never designed to be scaled. So, you know, it makes sense why it's quite difficult to do. Also, Season 3 animation, Better Cook. It's been 2 years. Also meant how people thought Prometheus was going to win. Don't get it twisted. Thought he was cool, but he ain't him. Like, again, like, yeah, people, like, I still agree that I think Prometheus is a lot more of an interesting matchup for Ku than like, Wukong is. On the basis that, like Ku and Prometheus are friendly, and it would have made Ku face a friendly thing, like a more friendly thing. Basically, I think in terms of storytelling, I think there's a lot more. But I think Prometheus versus Ku had a lot of interest in it. Yeah, it's kind of thing where like again, and we didn't know how predictable this thing was going to be. Where it did seem like Wukong was more likely to win, but that doesn't always mean that means they're actually going to win, basically. Yeah, until like we saw how strong they were, like it was never really, it could have gone either way. It could have gone either way. In the like, because in round 1 it was obvious Ku was going to win, but then we're like round 2, are they going to be really obvious again, or like are they going to actually not be obvious and have Prometheus win? But now that we've had 2 obvious wins in a row, it seems like kind of locked in. We are going to get these curveballs. So they're kind of required to like obvious wins before we can work that out. You better do me justice on Alcong. I'm going to try Alcong. I'm going to make him badass as possible. But Arthur is like my favourite character I've written so far. So I would try not to glaze Arthur too much. Opinion on monads? I'm probably being an idiot. Could you elaborate? What do you think Anubis' divine weapon will be? I'd like to see it be scales, but I don't think they'll do that, seeing he's pretty much a goofball, coping that he'll be serious when the round starts. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the scales. It's probably going to be a spear, because it's Ragnarok. That's actually a good idea. I don't know what his divine weapon could be. He doesn't seem like someone that would fight with a weapon. He seems like more of a hand-to-hand kind of fighter, so I don't know. Maybe it's some armor or something. And literally everyone from Baki can be neurodivergent with how they always take 5 minutes to explain the moves. Oh, definitely. So he's pretty much Two-Face as a god, but without a coin. Yeah, basically. That is a great Ahura Mazda thing. And just realised either we're going to have a 2v1 in the tournament, or there is a god fighter we haven't seen at all, because humanity has 14 fighters overall, while the gods have 13, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, it's why the draw mat round is so expected, because it would seem very weird to not have one. The 2v1 would be really cool. I really think that'd be a really interesting. There's also the thing that Siegfried becomes like a vessel for like the primordial power and basically is used as like a fighter for the gods, maybe. Shamey loses to the king. You better make him similar to Chin. He's got he's got Chin elements to him. Like when he locks in, I'd say he's kind of similar to Chin, but for the most part, it's a very different characterization. If I remember correctly, Monad is the highest deity in Gnosticism. Oh no, I kind of know what you're talking about. It's not. I'm not that knowledgeable on like everything. Monad is the monarchy with nothing above. He exists, God and Father. Yeah, he seems to be like in that same kind of tier as like Ahura Mazda and like the Judeo-Christian God, where it's just like proper, like true omnipotence, basically. Loki better die, or I'm a pull of Zeus when the gods lose. Yeah, I have faith Loki's going to lose this, but you know, it's going to be Ares the goat who joins and stomps everything at once. I wish it was the goat Ares joining. Ares is such a Chad. Such a chat. Oh. Here's a good question. What do we think? Are we like generally set on Simo's Volond being his gun? Because I was just thinking, is the gun he's using the same as the gun he was holding in like chapter 98? Because like if it is, that wouldn't make any sense. And he just turned into an identical gun. Let me double check. Let's have a look. Personally, I still like the idea that like his Volond is like literally is a single bullet, and it's like the final bullet that he has to use to end the round. And like the whole time, like he's just setting up the perfect shot. Like he's using other shots to take out the summons and stuff, but like the actual fight, the actual end fight, like his final shot needs to be with his Volond bullet. I think that's really interesting. I mean, that would be very cool. But, like, I don't know. Let's have a look. So, that's his gun. Is it the same? Does look like it's the same to me. Yeah, his gun looks the same. So, would indicate his gun isn't his Volond. Because, like, otherwise, why would he just have... Like, did he just bring his gun, ditch his gun, and then his Valkyrie just turned into the exact same gun? I don't know, that seems a little strange, but okay. Unlimited ammo, that would be cool. That would be fun. I don't know if that's like full-on worthy, but you know, he'll be like whole horse. What if he can like redirect his bullets? That would be very cool. Oh, no. I'm just being I'm being dumb. Yeah, you know, he just doesn't have his gun. Okay, no, his Volond probably is his gun then. And yeah, I thought, like, I don't know why I was being dumb, like, and the chat was saying, yeah, he doesn't have his gun in chapter 98 where he goes and meets his Valkyrie, but he has his gun in the round, so it's very likely the gun is his Volond then. I guess that settles it. Obviously, it can have different powers. His gun can have powers, but it does seem like his gun is just going to be the Volond. Where are we up to? Based on the content for Record of Ragnarok, who do you think will get a spin-off? Who do I think will, and who I think I want are very different questions. In terms of who would get a spin-off, it does seem to just basically be humans. I can see Qin Shi Huang getting one, like of him ruling. I'd love a Tesla one. Like a Tesla one would be really fun. I I don't think we'd get a Sasaki one, only based on, like, we basically saw most of his life in montage anyway. I don't know what you could really do in a Raiden one. Buddha, again, we saw enough of his journey in his flashback. I don't think it warrants a spin-off. Don't be doing that. Are we still going, or is it decided to crash again? Are we still going? I think we are. Yeah. Yeah, I think we are. Are we still here? Are we still Are we still connected? Honestly, this OBS is driving me insane today. Just work. We back? Are we finally back? Probably not. On my back now. Okay, brilliant. Sorry. OBS was not telling me. Okay, cool. I will try speedrun through this and then stream them because this is getting ridiculous. What do you think about the latest Dragon Ball Daima episodes? I've heard they're pretty big. I've not watched today's episode yet. But again, I have critiques of Daima, but overall I think Daima's been very entertaining. Reminds me a lot of the original Dragon Ball. And it's been very hype. It's had two things that I know a lot of people have wanted for a very long time, and they've both been really, really, really cool reveals. Hold on, Raiden is technically always getting head with his blonde if you think about it. He is. You can't deny that. As Loki pulled out his two sickles when he's in the arena, or just the orbs? I don't believe he's pulled the sickles out yet. I'm sure we will see him's sickles. Don't worry, Joel Boy. We're going to end stream momentarily anyway, so it's great to have you around. I hope you've enjoyed the stream for when it wasn't, OBS being an asshole and just ending the playback. But been good for you to join. And this is the last questions in the next minute or so. I'm probably going to end stream. Doesn't look like it. Sorry again for being late and the bad connection, but it is what it is. I will try see you next week for the Fan Roster stuff. I'll put some stuff in the Discord about it.